It's good to be back to see you all happy and joyful in the Lord. Had a blessed weekend, I'm sure, for every one of you. So we start a new section today, our worldview and sociology. Christian worldview and sociology. Yes. We are all students of sociology, not because we have enrolled for a course in the university, but sociology is part of our existence because we are in the society. What's the main question that sociology wants to consider or sociology is involved in? The main question of sociology is how should the society be structured? The society is there and it is structured some way or other, but the question is how should the society be structured? We are Indians, and of course in India many states, every state has a different social structure. Good number of you born and brought up in Kerala, some outside. You know that our society is different. Even in the same state, the society differs from people to people. The people groups have their own society. But the important question for a Christian is this question: how should the society be structured? Does society form automatically, or society is the deliberate creation of some? What do you think? Society is formed automatically, or it is formed deliberately, purposefully, with some design and some desire and some persuasion and all? The society you were born and brought up, how did it come into existence? That's a big question. Sociologists will discuss this issue in detail. The question is, what is society? What is society? Did any of you ever take a course on sociology? No. It's good. One sad thing about our education system is that the engineering students will study only engineering. Like in the Western countries, you have your compulsory subjects as part of the course, but then you have to take certain optional subjects that are from outside your syllabus. Could be political science, sociology, economics, or psychology, whatever may be. So those who are interested, they will take a number of courses. I think our curriculum need to be revised. Whatever faculty you are involved in, you must have a basic knowledge of some other, subjects also, because we have to live in this world. Yes. So what is society? Society is people living together. The social existence of individuals is called the society. The social existence of people. If there is only one person in the world, there is no society. He can go anywhere he wants, he can do whatever he wants. But when there are two people living together, you cannot go anywhere you want, you cannot go anytime you want. Lot of things you have to agree each other, consult each other, inform each other, correct each other. A society is being formed. God established the first society when He created Eve out of Adam and brought them together. There was a society already established. But do you know which is the first society in the whole cosmos? The society in which God lived, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's a society, that's a holy society, the holy triunity. Three people living together and agreeing on everything, never have difference of opinion, each one complimenting the other, each one knowing the other, each one pleasing the other, each one seeking the glory of the other, each one obeying the other. But that's not easy, is it? Especially in today's family, immediately after marriage the problem comes. In the early times when we got married, there was no room for us to have a problem, because we were not expected to be talking each other very much. We were expected to be talking with our father and mother. Very few. They used to call them Talayana Mantram. That means that at 9 o'clock you go to bed, you have to talk each other without anybody. Even then the mother-in-law will, sometimes come in and storm in and say that what's going on here. Because they are so conscious that they are talking about some mistake of the in-laws or this and that. But now that problem is not there. As soon as people are married, they just move in to a new place and they start fighting. They start fighting on many issues because they are forming a society. Before, a society was formed for them. Now every individual, every couple has to form a society. There is no use in saying that this is not the way our parents used to do, or this is not the way our family used to do. No, there's no use in saying. One person will shut up, don't talk about your family. I only married you, not your family. The other person also says that, don't tell me anything about your family. So you have to establish a family, you have to formulate. Your values have to be established, you need communication. So society is people living socially. That means a lot of adjustments. The first society on the earth, Adam and Eve. How amiably they lived, how joyfully they lived. You think of what happened in the Garden of Eden? Eve taking the fruit and eating it without Adam's knowledge, then coming and giving it to Adam and probably for persuading him. Did Adam fight with Eve? No, we don't hear there any sort of a misunderstanding. The smallest statement, and she gave it to him and he also ate. She gave it to him and he ate. Very simple statement, isn't it? If it was today, no. See, when God created two people and permitted them to live together, even when there was a conflict of interest, if there was, still they didn't have a conflict of personality. It's wonderful. You think of the possibility of Adam saying no to Eve. So Eve has eaten the fruit and Adam is refusing to eat. Eve is walking after him with the fruit, please, please, dear. And he says, no way, go away. I'm not going to eat. Our relationship is over. The day you eat, the Lord said, we will die. You are a dead person as far as I am concerned. Forget about it. No arguments, nothing. That's what society is. That's what society is meant to be. I like even husband and wife, when they sin together. It's easy to solve that problem than one sin and the other accusing the other, right? Yeah. Because they both say that, we both have sinned. Give us a formula whereby we can overcome this sort of situations. Yes. One of the greatest problems in the society is I am holier than thou attitudes. Whether parents or children, whoever may be, that attitude is creating a lot of problem. So what is the key idea of society? The key idea is how has God organized the society and how should man live in that society? God has established family, church and state. 3 institutions. Family first, then came the church. By church we don't mean the New Testament church alone, we mean the spiritual unit which was trying to worship God and approach God. But that's what religion is, church is. And then the state. State does not mean necessarily that people were divided with the geographical boundaries and authority structure. It simply means that outside the family there is an authority structure to which the family and the individual are answerable to. That may include about the behavior, that may include about law and order, that may include about taxation, that may include about many other things, but there was a society. As soon as Cain and Abel were born, there was a society. 2 is not enough to make a social society, so they had the family society, but when the children were born, there was a society. Then they got married and more children were born. So the key idea is how should we behave and live in this society. That's a key idea. Especially these 3 institutions, family, church and state. What is family again? Family is that which is familiar. Okay? Family is what is familiar. Means the husband and wife and the children are meant to be the most familiar people in the world. Husband and wife are supposed to know everything each other because they are one in the flesh. As far as the children is concerned, the knowledge is less, but yet they are an essential part of that small society where parents and children, a wonderful relationship. They are supposed to know many things in common. For this very reason, when a man is married, the birth of the first child is very, very important, very, very important. Bible does not know this idea of a long honeymoon and all. No, Bible doesn't know really. Actually, when God gave the law, He said that after marriage, the first year, the husband should not go for any outside service. Stay home with the wife and have the child born. That's the rule. The child must be born in first 10 months. Then he can move on to his social responsibility of military service and what other things. See, the concept of God is so different. Our social concept is different. Our social concept is carnal. Very totally carnal. Say that, well, we wanted to enjoy life. Going around, the physical relationship and all the other things that goes with. The first blessing God said is, have children, multiply, be fruitful. It's very interesting that. God didn't say that have relationship. That was not the first word said. He blessed them and said have relationship. It is assumed they will have relationship, but the emphasis was upon multiplication. 2 has to become 3 and then 3 has to become what? 4 and it goes on. So the whole history of the Bible was that. Immediately. Bible speaks of such a brief statement that he went unto her and she conceived and gave birth. That's it. And if that didn't happen, then there was problem. The Lord closed the womb, whatever was there in the ancient society. It was very difficult. Very difficult. Sometimes the wife will get very upset and like Rahel said, give me a child. Give me a child. Yes. We are living in a different economy where children are not a necessity. Actually, children are a nuisance. There is a liability. As soon as it is born, the children are given to the crushers where they are crushed. It's one of those propositions we want but we don't want. We want a child, but we don't want to keep the child. We don't want to raise the child. 6 o'clock in the morning we will give the child away, and 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock come. They give the sleeping child and then they take the sleeping child. The child is very unfamiliar with this man and woman. We heard the joke in Kerala. Some children told the mother, the Archikaran has come. See, the father is a businessman. He goes every day 6 o'clock when the children are sleeping. Comes back 9 o'clock when the children are. Then comes a Sunday. That is the only day. Of course, he goes to the church. After the church, he will buy some 2 kilos of beef and come. So every time the children see the father, he is the Archikaran. He brings Archi. So Mama Archikaran has come. Yeah, what a life. This is sociology we're talking about, the modern sociology. Where are the social values? What's the concept of the society? The early days, marriage was a family affair. Now marriage is a personal affair, right? A few years back, a friend of mine wrote to me, said that I was so happy my father and mother came for my wedding. That's what they said. I'm so happy. I never expected them, he said. But they turned. Well, it's nice. Isn't it? See our social values going away? Yes. Our social values going away. The society, the very fundamental structure of the society is no more. The husband, wife and children. Yes. Husband, wife and children. So that's what family is. Then comes the church or the spiritual entity, the Jewish people, Israel church, whatever is. And that is the collective forum where they worship God together and where they, pray one for another and encourage and all. The moral, spiritual values of the society is structured, formulated by what is called the church. Now today church is something different. Church is a building, right? Church is a building where people visit once a week. That's the most godly one. Others, even if they go, they will stand outside the building and they will talk with people and do some smoking and all that, and then, that's what it is. Only the very godly ones go inside. Yes. But church is a spiritual entity where every member of the society, they ascribe to certain standards, certain principles of relationship. To become the member of that society, you have to share something in common about your concept of God and man and heaven and hell and all that thing. That society formulates the spiritual, moral values of the people. Yes. It was so important. Even in my childhood, I remember I grew up as a Brethren. In that Brethren, the church was the center of our existence. The center of our existence. People infiltrated and they will come into our life, and intervene in every aspect of our life. I can remember in my early days, like people coming from the church, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Once a week or once in 2 weeks they will come in and we all have to sit together there. They will ask many questions about these things, Husband, wife, they will first go in that details. How is your family life? How is your family worship? Do you have any fight? Do you have any difference of opinion? Does your husband love you? Does your wife obey you, respect you? Do you take care? If there may be Appacha and Ammachi, and they will be asked the question, do these people take care of you? If there is any sense of, disagreement or something, then there is a counseling right there and go. And then comes the turn of our children. How is it, your studies? You read Bible every day. What verse you memorized yesterday? Tell us. And this and that, and this goes on every 2 months. Once in every 2 months they used to come. The temper and the spiritual temperature of our existence was decided almost by them, and we always enjoyed them, We always enjoyed them. The elders, the deacons, they didn't have those positions then, but they called them the responsible men of the church. They come. And it's very nice. The best part I always enjoyed is if they come the noon time there will be, special meal provided, because that's the only time when we have meat and chicken and all. So we are praying if they will come, we can also eat some. In another sense, even in that aspect, the church was very important. Church was very important. People coming from the church is always esteemed. They are respected. They are treated very well. They are treated very well. And then these people will also slow one or two from this house also go with them to the next house. That's the way. So by the time the whole visitation is over, there will be the whole church. The first house there will be only these 2-3 people, but the second house, people from there. Then they walk into the church building, that's where the last visit. They have singing and they have prayer and all kinds of things, It's wonderful, Nowadays I miss those things. Do you ever miss that? You ever had such experiences? Nothing. And every Sunday evening, the whole church, will have 4 o'clock, then we all go, 2 o'clock church is over, go eat something, then 4 o'clock we all came, everybody came, we will all, men, women, children, they will all go to the nearest one of the towns, we'll have we'll go in line shouting verses and singing. Then go there, we have drums and we beat the drums and all that, and then we have a testimony and we have 1 or 2 messages. That's where we all learn to preach, I was groomed as what they call Ettuparachal man. I don't know what's English for it, Ettuparachal man, One of the big person will preach and then we will go and shout it again. Usually 3 or 4 people, young people are needed as Ettuparachal, because that it was all fun, I started enjoying it. That's the way my sound came out and all that thing. And it was fun, my point is, it was fun. It was fun. Even going to the meeting, we didn't have the torch or anything, it was always the coconut leaves. And I still remember that one, shooter, walking for 3-4 kilometers. And this is a social existence. The church my point is that the church was an essential part of our social existence. Today, no, it's not. We just come in, you have your own form of transportation, whatever it is, zoom, get in, zoom, get out. No interpersonal relationship. The church does not play an important part in the lives. When are we going to go back into that one? The God established church as the second most important institution, where I think everybody, our friends were all from the church, it was interesting. The friends were from the church, therefore very little opportunity to learn the bad habits. It's all. Now our children, who are their friends? What are they learning? Who is molding their character, their value system? I think we have gone away. So sociology is very, very important, because the sociological fabric of the society is formulated carefully according to the Bible for the Christian. They are weaving a beautiful tapestry, multicolored tapestry. The parents and everybody has an important thing. For me, my existence, part of my existence was the church. Everything. There is a wedding in the home. Every member of the church will be there 1 week earlier, putting the pandal, buying the oxen, slaying it and cutting it, and this, and all the women will come, prepare the fish, everything. It's a utsavam, that they call celebration, jubilee, for a whole week. Then of course there will be some fight among some relations because they were not treated well, or the gift they expected were not given. That's a family. The church and the family, it's a great fun. Somebody is sick, dying, the same thing. Now you go to a dead house, a funeral place, you don't feel there is somebody died there. Somebody is just talking something and others are talking about something else and they are talking about something else and they are clicking the pictures and all. Our values are so changed. When I was in Palai, one of the greatest joke was the The biggest studio there was, what was it called? I forgotten the name. Anyway, George Kottugapalli was an MP and he died and everybody was lined up for a group photo. And then this photographer said that everybody smile. You know, everybody smile. Say cheese. So, you know, when the mistakes of the photographer became a proverb there. It's very proverbial. When I went there first time, I went to this studio for taking picture. My house owner told me this story. Don't go there. You know, they have no sense. The social existence was very, very big. You know, the church was very important. The Sunday schools, the youth meetings, the sisters meeting. You know, all these meetings there were. We were just, you know, involved around. In the Western countries and all, the country church and children will be playing around, and that's wherever they live. The parsonage is the very important place where, you know, the pastor and his wife, the family, there will be children coming in. They will always have lemonade there and this and that, and all this fun and all that. You know, there was a social existence, the society. Where are those days? Where are our people? Where are our children singing and dancing and running around the tabernacle or the church building or the hall, whatever you want to call, the chapel? Where are they? The building is a dead place until 9:55 on Sunday morning. Then somebody come and open at 9:56, then some people come in. By 1 o'clock again it's a dead place for a whole week. No activities, nothing. Nothing. Sad, isn't it? Yes, families have changed, you know. Now you have the nuclear family. You know, it's nice to have a nuclear family because you have a lot more privacy, but I don't believe in joint family system. But I believe that our family should be more. I was very happy when my granddaughter, Sunil's children were put in a school. It's a Hindu school, I can't remember the name. Anyway, the teacher said that whenever your grandparents come home to visit you, the children doesn't have to come to school. 2 or 3 days.
What is this?
Children needs a social growth, the maturity. Relationship is more important than education, they said. We value those things here. I was very happy because when I went there, you know, children were there. I said, you're not going to know. No. It's a holiday for us. When our grandparents come, the teacher said, you stay home, play with them, eat with them. So nice. The maturing of the child, the personality development, the character development, they come by the social involvement of the parents and the grandparents. There is no substitute for grandparents. His father and mother, very important, but Appacha, Ammachi is unique. Yes. So we don't have those things. Our children are growing as artificial puppets. They have those what they call them all, I've forgotten all the names of those little dolls, you know. Yeah, Barbie and you know, all these dolls, that's what, you know, our children are Barbies and these sort of things. No personality, no real smile on their face, no relationship. They don't know the love of grandfather, grandmother, uncle, auntie and all that. It's very sad. So sociology is very important, you know, I'm just saying, sociology is very important. You need to pick up some of the old books of sociology and start reading about the institution of family, in the institution of religion, church, especially if it's a Christian sociologist, they will tell you. We needed to remake our society. For that one, we needed to, you know, break the old one, like a potter is breaking his pot and remolding it. We need to. Still my good memories of my time spending with my maternal grandfather. Oh, the idol of my life. When the vacation comes, I love to go there. You know, and he was everything. A great godly man. We go for fishing together. He has the net in the Pomba River. Cast the net and I'll pick up the fish. And it's all great fun, you know, the fish running and we going after and all that. Then grandfather again catch